The program that sends immigrants back to Mexico to wait to see if they'll be let into the U.S. is now in Laredo.
They're asylum seekers. There's now a new facility that is set up to help process their cases. Channel 5's Christian von Preissing is in Laredo with the latest.
The layout here in the city of Laredo is a little different than in the valley. Right here by downtown Laredo is the Rio Grande and Mexico. A lot of people coming across the international bridge, both by foot and by car, are coming into the city of Laredo. Now, some of them are claiming that they cannot stay in their home country because they fear persecution. And this facility right here is where those people will be processed. Downtown Laredo, in the middle of commerce, where foot traffic is high, the government is setting up this facility as it expands a new immigrant screening program. This new building is the main staging area for the migrant protection protocols. Immigrants from other countries who enter from Mexico are sent back to wait to hear if they'll be let in, as long as they aren't determined to be in danger back in Mexico. This pathway is outdoors, shaded. Port Director Alberto Torres walks the path where those immigrants will line up after they cross the bridge, arriving with an appointment.
This is where we anticipate 100% of the people that are going to be coming in for a hearing will be arriving. So at this point is where we'll do an initial review of the migrants' paperwork.
Migrants will pass through security checks. Their items will be locked away. They'll also be subject to medical checks before it starts. Staff will be checking the immigrant's identity on CBP databases, on computers, and on their person.
We will use biometrics to ensure that the person in front of us is actually the person that's been scheduled for hearing.
Some rooms have a capacity for 100 people. This isn't a detention center. Rooms for families and children, although smaller, are separate.
We do have some family units that will be arriving for their court hearing as well. So we are basically separating them from the larger groups.
Under current law, an immigrant is entitled to see an immigration judge.
The migrant sitting, and then you'll have the judge come up, and he'll basically going to be holding the hearing.
Those judges will not exclusively be there in person. This is set up for teleconferencing. Immigration court dates can take months, if not years, due to a backlog. In the meantime, an immigrant with a fear of wading back across the river can request an exemption. Officer Arturo Barberena.
And they say they claim a fear of going back to Mexico. They have an opportunity to talk to an asylum officer who determines whether or not there's merits on their claim. If there is merits to the claim that they cannot go back to Mexico because they may face some sort of persecution or torture, then they get processed under a different procedure.
Eventually, immigrants who are either sent back to Mexico or those with special permission to stay in the U.S. will get to see an immigration judge for an asylum hearing. That's scheduled by the courts, who are still facing those backlogs, as soon as appointments are available. And they say this facility right here will be opening up in the next couple of days with a capacity to see 200 to 300 people per day. In Laredo, Christian von Preissing, Channel 5 News.